One thing I'm wondering about is the ethics of trying to say, like, quote unquote control for things like race in like complicated things like mental health. Like, my background, I have an undergraduate degree in psychology, neuroscience, and behavior. So like quasi-experiment and stuff like that. That's something we talk a lot about in our kind of coursework. But now that I'm in social work, I can't help but think that trying to come up with interventions for mental health and stuff that try to remove things like race or, place of birth or whatever from the equation, I can't help but think that maybe that's not a good thing. And I kind of wonder if that ever comes up in ethical conversations.
Oh, hugely. I mean, I think part of what we know is that there are always differential effects, and those differential effects are almost never random across the population. They are experienced by particular populations who are generally deeply systemically disadvantaged. And so you can't engage in any of these methods, and you can't engage in thinking about complexity without incorporating those elements. What you're trying to do with experimental and quasi-experimental approaches is to have enough representation from enough people that you're able to look at both what the overall thrust is, and then you're actually able to look at, is it different amongst different subgroups? The challenge of that in terms of recruitment and having large enough samples of different subpopulations in order to do that well is a very real challenge that a lot of really engaged researchers are trying to take on doing that responsibly. What it's called, I think how this is called is a little problematic. It's called oversampling. Recognizing that if you have subpopulations that are relatively small, you're going to have more people within your experimental design in order to be able to see if there is a differential effect for them versus for the overall